The man is all class, great person, biggest sick cunt. All gangster. Street Jesus! Give it up for Jorge David Masvidal!
I think I'm gonna add to one of the many nicknames, Sick Cunt. But can I get him? You think they introduce me like that right before I compete?
Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. Now, does everyone want to hear about the backyard biffs? Kimbo Slice days? Yeah! Tell them, bro.
Me and Kimbo trained out of the same gym for a while, which is in Miami, Florida. I was there for about like a year and a half, and then Kimbo joined. So a lot of the same coaches and staff that was training Kimbo was also very affiliated with me. And after seeing me train for a couple of weeks, he offered me like, "Hey, you want to fight in the backyard?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, man, let's do it." And he didn't offer me he didn't tell me if there was gonna be money involved or anything like that. He just said, "All right, we'll keep you posted." So 3 months went by, I didn't hear a word from him, nothing. I thought, "Oh, this guy's selling me dreams, whatever, you know." I get a call and it's like, "Hey, we think we're gonna be scrapping in about 3 weeks with this guy." At the time, the events were super illegal, so we didn't. It wasn't like advertised on social media at all, and it was the day of the fight. You'd get a text message saying, "Hey, we're gonna meet over here," and then the guys would go scrap it out, and that's it. So that day that I get the message, I'm at the McDonald's drive-thru cleaning the house, and Kimbo calls me himself. "Yo, what's up, man?" I'm like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna scrap for sure, man. It's gonna take place today because it was supposed to be the week before something happened and it got canceled, and then we moved it to that week." So nothing, I went over there and fought Ray Ray.
Go on him. There you go. You got someone new on the block now.
The best part about that time was Kimbo fought on his wall. He fought before me, and Kimbo's warm up was the most legendary, epic warm up I've ever seen in my fucking life. He rolled up in an Escalade.
It's been a long time for a nigga to eat.
Got out of the car, took his chain off. He gave it to his friend. Went in there and fought the dude, bro. Went just like this. And then boom, took the guy's eyeball out.
What do you plan to do to Usman, and how would it feel to be both
I plan on bringing my masterpiece on his face, that's for sure. I've had a lot of good things in the past. This will be my best one. I've been chasing this dream for 16 years as a professional, 4 years and change as an amateur, and I can't sleep at night until I get that other belt, so I'm gonna do everything it takes to get it, man.
How would it feel to have both of them on each shoulder?
It's gonna feel good. But more than that, so I've known Usman for a while, maybe like 5 years, and I just don't like the dude, so that's gonna feel even better just to both fight.
Talk a little bit more about Usman not calling you out. He seemed to be. Do you think he's legitimately scared? That's the feeling I get.
Not that he's scared, because once you're at this level, it's not that you're scared, but I mean, when a fight isn't favorable for you stylistically, it's something that you'd not rather do, you know. And I'll just speak facts from what he said. He called out the guy that's ranked under me. So there's a ranking system where we're ranked 1 through 15. He wants to fight the guy that he already beat. It's number 4. I'm number 3, and we've never competed, you know. So why wouldn't you find me? And on top of that, I'm the fighter of the year, and I happen to be at your weight class. If you're a champion, you would think, let me fight the fighter of the year that's at my weight class and show the whole world you guys picked wrong. It was me that's the fighter of the year. But instead, he went on to say things like, "Who's this and who's that?" And he was front running my fights when I knocked out Askren with his mouth wide open. You know, so it's a little bit contradicting. But that's the reason why I can't stand him. He's just fake as fuck. I met him 4 or 5 years ago, and he wasn't that person. He was asking for pictures. "Hey, what's up, bro? I fucking love your shit. You've been doing this forever." And I mean, he goes on in interviews about saying it before, the old Usman. Now Kamaruddin has a lot of things to say. Let's find out when this bout gets signed what happens.
I just wanted to know, what are the chances of you landing a flying knee on Usman in your match game?
Oh, that question you could always answer for yourself. First thing you gotta know is he a crotch sniffer?
I was gonna say he's a crotch sniffer.
Does he dive on crotches and just hang on to him? Because there's a difference. Like a guy like Matt Hughes used to take you down and beat the fucking shit out of you. This guy doesn't, you know. So that's why I call him a crotch sniffer. Not because he's a grappler predominantly, but it's because he doesn't do nothing with the grappling. He's just looking to stall. knowing that he's magnetized to this area, those knees are fucking. It's just meant to be, you know. When you got a magnetism for that, I got something just to fucking, you know.
What's your opinion of Ali Abdullah Sleeve?
I've known him for quite some time since Strikeforce, and never done business with him. I've never anything with the dude, you know. He's and in the business itself, he doesn't have a good reputation. You know, maybe a couple of his star guys that he has, but me, from person to person, not even business, I could care less for that dude, man. If there wasn't laws and regulations and rules in this world, it'd be a different story between me and him.
What's your thoughts on the tweets from Usman's account recently about Conor McGregor? What's your opinion on that?
It's just what a coincidence. Right when Conor fights, his thing gets hacked. For starters, raise your hand, somebody. Who the fuck wants to hijack Usman's Twitter? What the fuck? So you went through all that trouble? You went through all that fucking trouble to do that? Why don't you break into the Australian Treasury, download yourself $10 million before you go on Usman's fucking Twitter and hack? Who the fuck? Somebody raise your hand if you even know somebody who would waste your fucking time and trying to hack that guy's fucking Twitter once. So I definitely think it's bullshit.
Did Conor McGregor respond to you?
We've had negotiations behind the scenes, and his team in the UFC is not interested right now in making the fight. So there's nothing more we could do. I'm not gonna wait for nobody either. I think Conor wants to wait for Khabib and Tony winner, and I don't wait for nobody, my brother. I gotta give this.
Do you think he deserves the chance with Khabib again or not?
Does he deserve? No, I would like to see him fight maybe one more time at 55. Especially to make the weight, you know, to make sure that he can make the weight comfortably and stuff. But yeah, after one more fight, he definitely deserves the title shot. You know, he just brings so many eyeballs to the sport that it's a good thing, you know?
Who do you think would get the toughest fight out of Colby, Conor, or Kamaru?
The toughest fight?
Yeah.
For who? For me?
Yeah.
No, they're all getting baptized equally. Man, Kobe actually a little bit more, man. Kobe's gonna be different. I suggest if you don't like violence, like fucking adore violence, don't tune into that one.
I've got sort of two questions. What do you do to alleviate your performance anxiety before a bout, like if you get any, which I wouldn't be surprised if you don't. But and secondly, what moment was it in your life when you realised that you weren't cut out for a regular 9-to-5 job? You know, that 9-to-5 job, you were.
I do a lot. I help out a lot of law enforcement in situations like that back home. They ask you this question a lot, and I think this could apply to anybody in the room. Not always focusing maybe on so much the results, but in your preparation, you know, knowing that you prepared well. If, for example, in my case, it'd be different than a lot of people here, but if I have a coach and I have faith and trust in him, and he's telling me I'm doing good and I'm doing all my techniques good and my cardio's good, I can't worry about things that I can't control, you know. I gotta just worry about me, so that really helps my anxiety, just focusing on my technique. My firm belief in myself is usually what it does for me. I don't have too many problems with the anxiety. And the second part was, when did I know?
Yeah.
Shit, since I was young, man. Since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to fight.
Was there a defining moment? Like, was there any
Well, since I was about like 13 years old, I knew I was gonna make a living off this one way or another. And I got this tattoo right here, 17, 18 years old, right on my neck. So I knew I'd never be able to get a regular job. I knew I'd have to get good at fighting, or it was gonna not work out. You know, back then tattoos on the neck weren't that popular, so you couldn't get a job with them, at least back home, you know. So
who's the toughest guy you've ever fought, and what's your most favorite fight that you've had?
Favorite fight that I've had? I had a lot of fun in this Nate Diaz fight, you know. It was a good fight. I had fun in that fight. Toughest guy I fought? Shit, I fought a lot of tough motherfuckers. Shit, man. KJ Nunes was fucking tough, bro. I hit that guy with a high kick. I hit him with a flying knee, similar to the one I hit Ben.
Deserve a shot.
In his nose, like my whole knee came here, and then he came in the ring looking a certain way, but when he left, he looked a complete different other way. That was when I was at 155 pounds. If you've never seen that fight, it's a pretty violent one you can check out. That's one of the tougher fuckers I fought. As far as like taking a hit, and I hit him with some good body shots to him. Like I just wouldn't take no for an answer, man. He's a tough motherfucker.
Masvidal trying to set up the knee. The blood uppercuts. Nunes. Masvidal. Whoa, what a round by Jorge Masvidal.
Can you tell us about the resurrection in the TV show? How it changed you?
Well, my mindset wasn't quite the same. The formula that I came up for fighting and just my life in general, I didn't have that formula before the show. So that's why we called it The Resurrection, because when I went in this show and I was isolated from people, from communication, advertisement, all that shit, I was able to come up with a stern formula of what I needed to do and how I was going to get that done. And I was able to just reverse engineer every fight that I had in my career. At this point, I had been competing for 15 years, so I had a lot of data to crunch. And I just started doing that, just analyzing every performance. What did I eat before that fight? How did I sleep the night before? Did I get into a fight with my baby mama about some shit the night before? How did I perform? All those things, I crunched it up and put it in the paper and just got the best formula out of it. And I just try to bring the best version of myself every time. The right thoughts up in here, everything that I possibly can to give you guys the violence that you want.
Dijeron, no, que se te ve. Wolverine.
Is there any specific training that you would say is responsible for this resurrection, for the peak? Like, you're peaking now at 35, like, you know, is there any specific training that you're doing for this, or?
Well, my strength coach has been my same strength coach for about 10 years now, Jesus Gallo. It's the gym that I'm always training at in Miami. If I'm not at ATT, it's the other one that's called the Elite Athletes Performance. And he's a huge part of my whole career, you know, just keeping me healthy. And he's maybe one of the best guys that I've come across at preventing injuries, you know. If I'll be a little sore here, we'll start to rehab that right away before it turns into something serious and a tear happens. But the main thing I would tell everybody in this room that I'm peaking now, it's a mindset, you know. Sometimes we think we have it all figured out. No, you might have to do a couple more calculations. But once you get those calculations, the next thing is determination, focus, commitment. You know, like, I'm gonna do this. That means you're gonna do that, you know, no matter what happens, no matter who calls you to go to the party, no matter what's going on, you know.
If you could go back in time and fight any fighter, doesn't matter what weight division, in their prime, whether it's boxing or in MMA, who would it be?
I mean, if it's boxing, there's a lot of great boxers that I look up to that I have no business being there with them, but just because I admire them so much and I think so highly of them, I wouldn't mind sharing that space with them. But in MMA, just because I thought he was always such a fucking stud and ahead of his time, and he was at my weight class as well, and I think he's one of the best lightweights ever do it, is BJ Penn. I would like to compete with BJ when he was at his prime, like prime BJ Penn. That was just destroying people, you know. That probably would have been a dream fight of mine.
Obviously, you had the success with the BMF exhibition sort of fight with Diaz. And have the UFC approached you, or is there anybody that you think's worthy to challenge you for it?
As far as Diaz for the rematches, I know he has a couple things to. Well, I don't know actually, because I really don't know. But originally, what I heard is that he had to get some type of surgery. Then I heard he maybe wasn't going to do surgery. So I don't know what's going on with Diaz. I don't know if the rematch would get made now or later. But it's not something that I'm against. I'm definitely open to murdering him, bro. I would like to leave him without life for a couple minutes, so he knows there's a big difference between me and you. And those that know me know I wasn't out there. My formula was working. Everything that I thought would work in the fight was working. So it's just a matter of time before I put the nail in the coffin.
When you're sitting down after the third round and you've already given your best shots, what's going through your mind when he's coming back up for the fourth and fifth?
Oh no! At no point. I don't think like that. That'd be like beta thinking, you know, like I gave him my best shot, he's still coming. That's never in my career, thank God, has crossed my mind. I'm always thinking I'm gonna hit you with my best shot at some point, you know. I never hit somebody and think, damn, he took my best shot. That hasn't happened to me. I just keep working, you know. If somebody has a good chin, well then you start digging to the body, you chop the tree and it'll fall, you know, if you keep chopping away enough times. So, shit, man. I was just ready to murder that motherfucker, bro. To tell you the truth, man. I've never lost a lead in a fight because I got tired or something. I've been outpointed, I've been out-grappled, things like that. But my will is never gonna be in question. I'm not just gonna let you take the driver's seat from me. I'm in the driver's seat the whole fucking time, man.
How did it feel to knock out Darren Till in front of his home country?
And I like Till and everything, but fucking amazing, man. It's a great feeling, you know. You could imagine you walk into a room like this and everybody's like, boo, you know, or going for the other guy. And then all of a sudden, you don't hear nothing. You could hear a pin drop. It's just dead silence. You took everybody's soul for like those 30 seconds where they go, you know, it's a fucking amazing feeling, man.
What about Leon afterwards?
That's a fucking idiot, man. I don't know, man. It felt good to give it to Leon too. He's just been talking too much shit. And it's not that I'm against the shit. You want to talk shit, cool, but you're not gonna cut me off on my interview, especially after I won this main event. You know, and he was trying to use my moment of glory to up himself. It's not happening on my watch.
As a welterweight, you seem, from a frame size, a little bit smaller than some of the other welterweights.
Smaller than most of them.
But do you think the bigger, muscly guys do fatigue a little bit? And how do you see yourself? Do you think that size difference plays a part, or you just don't give a fuck?
The main bunt of it is I don't give a fuck. It's a fight. Once I make that commitment that I'm fighting with so and so, if I already made that commitment with the weight, the height, that doesn't really mean anything. I'm undersized, but I got one thing that these guys, most of them don't have to my level, and it's just heart and determination, you know? I've been dropped and I come back and knock guys out. I've been hurt, I've been put on my back, I pop back up, you know? I'm just not gonna stop.
What's the loosest party you've had?
The loosest? Loosest in Australia means like fucking people died and shit. Yeah, I've been to some good parties, man. I've been lucky in that aspect, I guess. I've been to some good parties.
Question, obviously after the beef with Ben Askren and things like that, after you lay him out like that, was the beef sort of fade, fizzle away? Do you have a bit of respect for him now, or still don't like the guy?
From a competitor, I have a lot of respect for Ben. I actually saw him win his championship, his national championship, NCAAs. I'm a big wrestling fan, collegiate fan. And shit, obviously I knew who Ben Askren was, you know. It's just that, I don't know, he said like dumb shit. And when I first met him, he said like a stupid joke instead of just like, hey, what's up, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And we had all finished training and he said something like stupid. And I just remember like, I'm just gonna walk away before I punch this guy in the face, you know. And since then, I didn't really like him. Fast forward to a couple years later, he's talking mad shit, saying this and that, and I'm like, nah, bro, I can't lose to this guy ever. I couldn't ever go back to my city if I lose to this guy. So on that end of just like, I don't like him as a person, that's it, but I respect the shit out of him as a competitor.
The YouTube backyard brawls, the guy that you fought twice, you know, the bald bloke?
Ray.
Do you see him around anymore?
Yeah, we're pretty damn cool, man. I've always had a crazy amount of respect for him. And we bumped into each other a lot of places. We also have a lot of friends in common. So it's like a small circle between me and him. We know a lot of the same people. So I bumped in numerous places. He used to be a bouncer at a club in Miami. And I remember there was some type of trouble getting in because maybe I was sneaking in. I was still young. And I was with a group of people. And we were trying to sneak in and they caught us. And fucking, they called the cavalry, security backup. We got like 4 delinquents trying to sneak in. And one of the security members that comes it's Ray. You know, but this is after a fight already. He's like, oh shit, my boys here. No, let these guys get in, you know. So we've always been cool and shit.
Was Ray your toughest fight in the Kimbo fights, or what was your toughest fight in the Kimbo fights?
In like that, because I did other fights as well. I did 2 with Kimbo, but I had done a couple other ones in Miami that weren't recorded or televised. And hands down, I could say Ray was my toughest fight, man.
Yeah.
In the backyards, for a fact.
Another question, obviously, with a lot of fake bullshit with the UFC at the moment, or who can talk the loudest. Obviously, with your history, and it's just, I'm going to knock the guy out. Do you think it's a bit phony, a bit fake, or?
Some of the beefs are real. Some guys really don't like each other, and the community's not that big, you know. So a lot of us kind of know each other. Some of us may not. You know, maybe somebody from Australia that's never trained in America. Blah blah blah, but a lot of us know each other and stuff. So, I mean, a lot of those people that don't like those other people, some of it is coming from a real place. And when it's not, you can see it. You know, fans ain't stupid. You guys just fucking, you're not gonna put nothing over the fans. They can see when it's bullshit.
I just want to know, like, when you first met Yoel, how did that friendship start? What did you guys meet in the club, or how did you guys meet?
No, we didn't meet no club. Me and Joel had a lot of friends in common. He came from the Cuban national system. I was always in Miami, and a lot of my coaches came from that system, either trained alongside with him or cornered him in wrestling, trained him in wrestling. So we had a lot of friends in common, and we would speak on the phone. At the time, he had defected from Cuba to Germany, and we would stay in communication. I was telling him, when you get over here, I got you. I got a gym here, I got a gym there, and you know, if I was going to Germany, he would have done the same thing for me. So I was just extending my hand, trying to hook him up. And me and Joel, we go way back, and we also have the same management as well. We've been to the same gyms. We had, before this management company, we were at another management company together. So me and Joel met maybe in I think the first time we met was at the gym, and then we fucking worked out. Yeah, that's the first time we met, I think.
After this fight with Izzy, is he going to shout you that holiday?
Is he gonna what?
Is he going to shout you that holiday, like take you on a holiday?
Oh no, that's that. We already discussed it. He already knows he's taking me out because I got the belt before him, so he's gotta.
You guys made a bet, yeah. You want.
Yeah, and he's gonna pay me, man. He knows I'll find his ass, man. He can't do that to me. I'll find him.
I don't think a lot of people understand when you went on that reality show what it was like. No phones, no communication, all that stuff, right?
No TV, no music. The food, it was so basically you get broken up into two teams, and they strip your bare necessities. So the winning team will sleep in a house with AC, and they'll have access to food. The losing team will eat coconuts and stay like in a hut out on the beach, and if it rains, you get rained on and things like that. And if you're winning, you get to make phone calls to your family like once a week. If you're losing, you don't get shit. So my team in the beginning, there was a lot of things we were losing in, so I was deprived of a lot of extra things, you know. I went on a coconut diet, that's why I got the little coconut there. I had coconuts for about 13 weeks. That was part of my main diet, so it's part of the resurrection as well.
Yeah, but tell everybody what you awakened it to. You said to me afterwards that it was sort of being like in jail?
The system in there?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was very, very strict. They would do random searches all the fucking time. It was nuts. Like, you'd get on the bus, and as you're competing, they would be going through the bags and taking all types of contraband. Like,
did you ever break out?
Yeah, a couple times.
Where'd you go?
A couple places, actually. So they had us secluded in, like, a mountain. There was, like, I don't know, you'd have to fucking 15 minutes on a fucking 4x4 to get there, and then they'd leave us there. And then we had a big area there. It was maybe, I don't know, like 10 acres of land that we could patrol. But after studying the system for weeks and weeks and weeks in, I came up with a formula to escape, and I got to escape. I ended up at a local bar. They called the town sheriff. The whole town came out to meet me because it was a reality show over there. And it was 1 week delayed. But everybody in that little town was working for this company, and they all knew me. So as soon as they see me at the bar, they snitch my ass out, and they grabbed me quick.
Did you know I got a phone call?
Yeah, I know you got a phone call.
You know they threatened to sue?
I don't give a fuck. I got lawyers and shit now.
What do you think about the Alexander Volkanovski finish?
Stud. I actually saw, the first time I saw Volkanovski live was here when I came to the Sydney show, and I got to see him compete live. And I remember talking to him afterwards, and I was asking him, man, did you wrestle here or something? And he goes, nah, man, I just picked up MMA and I learned it all in once, and I've taken the wrestling really well, and I was so fucking impressed. Because wrestling is this thing you're either born with Hulk-like strength and endurance that you could just keep forever going, or you have to have worked at it to gain that endurance and strength since a kid, you know. So it was very surprising to me that this individual started like MMA and started later in life, and he was doing so fucking good, man. And I think he's a stud, man. I thought going into the Max Holloway fight, and I'm a huge Max Holloway fan, if somebody was gonna beat Max, it'd be Volkanovski. Similar reasons as for Jaws, because he's a dual threat, you know. He could take a guy down, or he could crack you in the jaw, and that's always more dangerous than a guy that's just doing one thing, you know, that's presenting just one threat.
Like, what's the difference in preparation between like Eve Edwards Diaz versus like Ben Askren, for example?
Well, Eve Edwards was a very special time in my career. It was a big jumping competition, to where I had been fighting good guys in the state, a couple regional guys, I had fought maybe one or two already UFC veterans, but I hadn't fought nobody of the level of Eve Edwards, and I knew Eve Edwards very, very well at the time. I had seen numerous knockouts of him. I don't want to say I grew up watching him, but my early part of my career, I watched a lot of Eve Edwards. You know, I watched a lot of him. So when I got the call to fight him, and it was just weird because we were in different promotions, and all of a sudden we're in the same promotion, all of a sudden we're fighting each other. It was like a little bit surreal, you know, like, fuck, I'm fighting this dude that rearranges people's face, you know. I'm not getting fucked up. I'm gonna train my ass off. And that fight, I pushed so much every day in my training camp that I had never done before. Let's say I had ran a mile in, I don't know, 8 minutes. For that fight camp, I was pushing my body to the max, doing things that I quite frankly, I didn't think I had in me at the time. But it's just that the fear of losing to this guy and the way that I could lose to him was so great that I busted my ass so fucking hard, man. And a better me as an athlete came out of that camp. So after that fight, that's when I knew, without a doubt in my mind, whether I had won or lost that fight, that I could continue on in this sport and do well, just because of how much improvements, leaps and bounds I had made in just that camp, in just that 11-week, 10-week camp, because it was like a long one. It really helped me to get to where I'm at, to know, man, I can compete at the highest level.
Greatest of all time supermodel or girl or woman? Greatest of all time supermodel in your eyes?
One better, Shakira or J-Lo?
What are we talking about?
Sex.
Sex? Why, I couldn't tell you. I haven't had the pleasure. Look-wise, yeah, I gotta go with J-Lo. She put hairs on my chest, man. You know, J-Lo. I've had a forever crush on J-Lo since that, but everybody here's got a crush on J-Lo, even the girls, you know, everybody knows that. J-Lo's the shit, man. Shakira too, I love her. But I'm gonna go with J-Lo. I mean, and if A-Rod doesn't like what I'm saying, fuck it, bro. So it is what it is, bro.
Do you see yourself going into analyst role with UFC or commentary or training, or what do you see yourself doing after you retire and you stop baptizing people?
100% you can count on me not analyzing shit. Because them motherfuckers at the UFC and ESPN desk, they wanna, this I could do, this is more up my alley, you know, I can't be being told what to do and Masvidal, we need you to speak more, fuck out of my ear, you know? I can't deal with that shit, so I definitely couldn't. Maybe you could see me a one-off, you know, because they offered me like an enticing deal, but for me to do that 9 to 5 stuff, no, it'd go against everything I've worked for, you know? I wanna be able to have freedom, you know, especially when I'm done fighting. I'm just gonna be spending time with my kids and skiing probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great night. Please would you put your hands together for Jorge Masvidal and just so you know, the gentleman over the left, Cameron Nardi, without him, Jorge would not be here. He's the one who got Jorge to come. So Cameron Nardi has been on the